Up next is our very popular segment called The Rant and Rave with Kay. This is founded here and also written and also composed and also hosted by handsome Karan Singh. And this Saturday morning, Karan will speak to us. I don't really know about what, as he came for filming and I was not at the studio. But I know it's a very interesting subject matter. Well, stay tuned and let's take a look.
Good morning, and I hope you guys are all having a happy Saturday. This is A Rant and Rave with Kay, and this is your host here, Kay. And today we have a guest for you, which can best be described as, I guess, special for lack of a better word. She's a radio host, fashion correspondent, and she is your network's Trump girl, Dr. Hashmi. Nice having you.
Nice to have you, Kay.
And I just want to say, that's a beautiful hat you got on there. You look like a nice red present.
Thank you so much, Kay.
And, you know, with that hat, you know, you do have a good sense of fashion. I said that earlier, but you actually have a show on the network, The Glam World, where you, you know, discuss a lot of, I guess, prominent fashion icons in the day. You know, I just want to know, who are some of your biggest fashion influences? Who did you want to look like growing up?
My maternal grandpa, who was a fashion icon, and he was a freedom fighter, and he gave the insight during the freedom fight to the whole India. Like, he brought the youth together, and that's what, you know, he was a fashion icon, as well as my parents who are no more with me, and of course my maternal grandpa is no more with me, and then of course Mrs. Gandhi, because I saw her so many times. So because my grandpa was very friendly with Nehru.
Oh, Indira Gandhi.
Pandit Nehru and Indira Gandhi. So I have seen all those icons, and it is very difficult to match them. And one icon which I really love here is President Trump, because he is also a fashion icon.
Yeah, fashion icon, you know, controversial figures in their own, you know, ways, but like...
for you, he may be controversial, but for me, he is like a father.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I also want to talk about, so did your family have a fashion line, you know, growing up in India?
No. They were all like biochemists. Both parents were biochemists, and my father developed like a precursor for Lipitor drug. And he went back to India from here. He was at Berkeley, and he went back to India and to like train the generation of scientists over there. So, and my mom was like a fashion icon, as well as she did her studies from where my dad was at St. Francisco Medical Center. So like they just wanted to train people in India. That's how they are, like philanthropists, but very, very well dressed and all.
Very fashionable biochemists.
Yes.
Got you.
Okay.
But all right, and now I know you have a new science fiction book coming out, The Outbreak of A Monstrous Infection. Would you like to give our audience a bit about what the book is about?
Yes, the book is about bioterrorism. I want to educate people about how bioterrorism, how these various diseases is spread, like avian flu or measles or any kind of contagious diseases, that how harmful they can be. And at this point, I will say that President Trump's message, build the wall, is very important, because I don't want to see Americans being hurt by illegal immigrants bringing all those diseases here. And there are reports, you can go and look on those reports. I don't have to, like, in my mind, I know that, but I don't want to quote any wrong data or anything. So just go and see those reports.
Okay, you know, all that aside though, but in your book, so like the outbreak of a monstrous infection, how exactly do the diseases spread? Is it bioterrorism? Is it
Yes,
illegal?
this is a story, like this is a story concocted by me, and it is like the disease spreads, you know, like there is a villain in it who spreads the disease. So, and I won't tell you which disease it is, for that you have to see, and it is one of those contagious diseases. So I wanted people to know, like how harmful it could be. Like whether you like President Trump or you don't like President Trump, we all are Americans, and we all could be hurt if those contagious diseases spread. And this idea came to me 4 years back. At that point, I didn't know that when my book is about to be launched, there will be a kind of a disease. And there is an outbreak of measles right now in United States.
But you understand those illnesses are airborne?
Yes.
So wall can't stop a illness.
But wall can at least not stop illnesses, but they cannot climb upon the wall. So for that, I don't want to debate on it with you. Just read and see, because I see whenever it hurts me so much that there is so much hatred against President Trump's agenda. These liberals, they make a hue and cry. Today I saw on the TV that Howard Schultz, he is standing as an independent candidate for president, and there is a hue and cry about him on the far left. Why? That he's not capable to be a president? Why? This is a free democracy. Liberals are thinking that, I'm not quoting anybody or anything, that when they say something, it is right. But if we say something, it is wrong. And for me, President Trump is like a father. So I get also very emotional talking about him.
Yeah, and I'll say the liberals can be strict with their attacks, but, sometimes for both people, I feel like we shouldn't be emotional in who we see as our
No,
leaders.
Kay, you have to understand, I have gone through a lot, with all my liberal friends. They all have left me just because I voted for President Trump. What kind of friends are those? So I have gone through a lot, and they have bullied me a lot. So, and they all are liberal friends, far left. I'm not saying I met you are like a business partner and a friend too, but I'm not saying that you bullied me. But there are people who will see this interview and they will know by themselves that how much they have bullied me, because their agenda, I was giving money to everybody. When they come, they do fundraisers at their house, I was giving money to everybody, So, but if I feel like that, no, I'm not going to vote for the president they want, because they go and show that it is such a big network they have. Like one vote, we are just like their stamps. I will not take that. I want to have my own individuality.
No, I agree with you.
And then for a person whom I treat like father,
And I agree with you on, this, it's a lot of thought policing.
Yes.
Would you say that if they wouldn't have bullied you so hard towards picking a candidate, that as many people would be voting for Trump? Would you say that his vote is reactionary?
I can't say. I just love his policies, but maybe, it's the reaction. You never know, but his policies are so good. For me, I cannot be objective, so I'm like a wrong person to ask that, because since childhood, I'm kind of like a father figure to me, he is. So,
No, and I appreciate you even mentioning that, hey, everyone has their biases.
Yes.
That's good. Now, I know that the Trump administration has, reached out to you and acknowledged that, you have been a supporter. You made the honor roll, right?
Yes, I'm a presidential honor roll, and you can show it to your audience. This.
Okay, and what does this document, bestow? What does it entail?
Just you can read it.
They said that in worthy and honest pursuit has unequivocally earned the good and high tribute in recognition of the undying commitment, patriotic loyalty, and dedication of service to President Donald J. Trump. So,
And it is signed by President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence, and here it is by President Donald J. Trump bestows upon Afshan Hashmi.
Oh, okay, so, and what exactly were you doing, that got his attention?
I'm a loyal supporter.
There are loyal supporters everywhere, even at the gas station, but they don't get, they don't get certificates.
He appointed me as his advisor, and whatever work he says to me, I do it.
Okay.
And that is confidential. I cannot talk about it.
Understandable, understandable. All right, and I guess, wrapping back up to, I guess future endeavors. I know you said that your family never had its own fashion line, but, do you plan to have another, your own
I
fashion
wish
line?
if I get an investor.
You're an investor? You got
I
any
don't have
plans?
that. I don't have that kind of money to invest in a fashion line.
Okay. And do you have any more, books? Maybe you can go ahead and, get the money off that if you might make another.
Yeah, if this is my target is that this one becomes a New York Times bestseller. So if it becomes, then I can have my fashion line and pursue my all dreams.
Okay. And, your radio show, where can they find you at that?
W4WN, Women for Women Network, and it is the largest network of the world, and I have more than 300 million listeners.
300 million listeners. Is this globally around the world?
Yeah,
or?
yes. It's an app you can download, W4WN, and then I come there every Wednesday from 6 to 7
to
US
7?
Eastern time. Yes.
Okay. And
that show is dedicated to Make America Great Again, MAGA.
MAGA.
And I talk about 1600 daily briefing of White House and CDC, like any information I get from Centers of Disease Control, or I talk about FDA consumer update. So it is kind of that.
So is there anything, while we're, I guess, wrapping up for the end of our show, is there anything you want to tell to the public for, what you've taken in from, the CDC?
From CDC?
I mean, anything you want to tell the public, just, as a radio personality, you said there.
I just want to help people in any way, and they can approach me, They should not be intimidated by me. I want the generation next after me should be, very smart and all that.
Okay, and in terms of outbreaks of monstrous infections, are there any that we got to worry about right now?
I told you about measles.
Measles?
Yes. You go and read the CDC update on that about measles right now. There is a travel advisory also on that from CDC.
Okay, and I guess one last question. Where do you feel about vaccines?
What? Vaccines?
Vaccinations, just in just general, It's a controversial thing, but, as someone who seems...
I think everybody should be vaccinated.
All right, good. So, I'm glad even we come to that conclusion. Get vaccinated, kids. It's, better to, not have polio. Well, we'll catch you guys next month, and thanks for tuning in. This is A Rant and Rave with Kay. This is Dr. Hashmi. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kay.
All right, take it easy.